Hi, everyone. This is Group 3, Section 15, Mila, Isis, and Chloe. And this is our argument for should steroids and hormones be used in food animals? And this is for our Animal Science 67 class. Here's some history and background. Steroid and hormones have been used in livestock since the 1950s to promote growth and increase feed efficiency. Common hormones include estradiol, progesterone, testosterone, zeranol, and trenbolone acetate. These are often naturally occurring hormones that are administered in higher concentrations to speed animal growth. The US FDA regulates the use of these hormones and has approved several for use in beef cattle. Hormones are typically delivered via subcutaneous implants behind the ear, slowly releasing the hormone into the animal's system. No hormonal growth promoters are approved for use in poultry or in pigs in the US. Now some cultural and sociological importance. Hormones support mass production of meat, meeting global protein demands in both developed and developing countries. They help maintain consistent and affordable prices for meat products, which benefit low and middle income families. U.S. agricultural exports rely on these practices to stay competitive globally, especially in markets with fewer restrictions. In some cultures, access to animal protein is closely tied to physical and economic health, and hormone use supports that access.
Now, as for the current events, in 2023, the FDA released updated guidance on proper implant use, helping producers remain compliant while improving animal health. There is ongoing investment in research to make hormone delivery safer and more efficient. Industry advocates continue to defend the practice as necessary to meet demands without drastically increasing livestock numbers. And for our ethical considerations, hormone use can reduce time to market, lowering the risk of disease in animals and the need for long-term antibiotic use. Efficient meat production helps address food insecurity, especially in low-income regions, and food deserts. Proponents argue it is ethical to use tools that allow for the efficient production of safe and affordable food. When used under regulation, hormones pose minimal risk to animals or humans and can improve overall animal management. And my group's argument for why should we use hormones is because hormones reduce feed and water use per pound of meat, increasing the sustainability of meat production. Treated cattle typically reach market weight 20% faster than untreated ones, improving turnover and reducing resource consumption. These gains translate into lower production costs and those savings are often passed on to consumers in the form of lower prices. This is especially important for school lunch programs and emergency food systems.
And here we have our visuals. The first one on the left is the hormone itself. That is how tiny the hormone is. And the picture in the middle is the tool that they use to inject the hormone into an animal. It's being shown there in the middle photo. And then on the right, we have how meat is compared to vegetables, considering their hormones, comparing the two of them. And here is our video for the visuals.
Whether it's plant or animals, anything that was alive has hormones in it because those are the messengers in the body that help living things grow. Pretty much anything you buy at the grocery store, you're eating some type of, say, hormone in it. We use added hormones in our own lives to help balance something that might be out of kilter. I know as a female, I'm very familiar with a lot of that. And so first of all, any added hormone that is used has to be safe for the animal, has to be safe for the environment, and it has to be safe for the humans who are going to consume that product. And so before we ever see any kind of product, we are going to know those rights are in place for safety. And then it allows us to use that responsibility focus we have and say, we would like this technology tool because it allows us to be better stewards of the land. We use an added hormone implant. It goes under the skin of the ear. And what this implant does is it acts as another messenger in addition to the hormones that are already naturally occurring in that animal. That messenger tells systems in its own body to use less feed while it's putting on the muscle. We can use 10 to 20% less feed for the same amount of meat and muscle that we're providing our consumers. And so it's really important to Steve and I to be responsible uses of the land and the water. And so by using that added implant, that added hormone, we can provide naturally what the animal is already receiving in its own body by supplementing that additional messenger of that hormone. For steers like you see here, or a steer that never receives an implant, the difference in the amount of hormone is like a blade of grass in a football field in that level. It's really insignificant. What's important to know is we wouldn't put anything in an animal or in our own bodies that is unsafe. So first of all, it is all about the consumer. Quality beef, safe, nutritious, healthy, because we want not only our families to thrive, but we want everybody who eats beef to live a better life.
And the next slide you are seeing here is our summary. Steroids and hormones are widely used in livestock to promote growth and improve feed efficiency, especially in beef cattle. Supporters argue that these substances enhance food production, lower costs, and reduce environmental impact when used under strict regulations. However, critics highlight potential health risks to humans, ethical concerns for animal welfare, and environmental pollution from hormone runoff. The debate also reflects differing cultural values around food transparency and natural agriculture. After examining both sides, informed opinions vary based on priorities like safety, sustainability, economics, and ethics. And for our works cited page, we have U.S. Food and Drug Administration, steroid hormone implants used for growth in food producing animals, FDA 2024, and the link is below that. The ins and outs of beef cattle hormones, Farm Progress 2022, and the link is underneath the title. The next one is University of Wisconsin Extension. Implant use for beef cattle is changing in 2023. And of course, the links beneath it. Next one is Medicine C4VND steroid hormone implants used for growth in food producing animals, U.S. Food and Drug Administration. And the last one is Kiani, Amir, and Arai Maliki, steroid hormone residues in animal derived foods, human health risk assessment. Thank you for watching.